Hello guys, welcome back to the stream. Today we're gonna talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum. So we're gonna talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum. Hey everyone. We're gonna talk about Ethereum and Bitcoin, but more specifically, we are going to talk about either Bitcoin valuation and discuss the probability of a common collapse. So you can see right here, this is the Bitcoin. So you know, let's let's get ahead and jump in before we got too far. I would like to say this is just my opinion on the market. It's not meant to be financial advice. Why I do something, sometimes get things right, but and I also get things wrong. So we're gonna discuss, and you can tell your opinion in the comment section. If you guys new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. So this is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still running into this section. Bitcoin and Ethereum currently bouncing from short term. But that doesn't necessarily guarantee that these short-term trends will remain intact, which I will talk about later in the video, in the live. So make sure to watch to the end. First of all, just giving up a really quick update here on the Bitcoin chart. And right now, the price of Bitcoin is still running into this important. You can see right here, which is around 29. So once again, we still need to see ideally strong weekly candle close well above in order to actually confirm a breakout, which as right now has not yet happened. So obviously, this is still important resistance. On the large time frame, as right now this giant cup and handle so has completed the formation phase. That is not confirmed. It will only confirm and come into play. We see confirmed breakout above this strong resistance. But as far for the larger trend at play, as I have been saying since the beginning of this year, clearly the larger multi-month long trend is more bullish than bearish. We still see a significant higher lows and higher highs here. So on the in the 1 week Bitcoin, and on the top of course, this super trend indicator is still sitting in the green indicator. A larger bullish trend here on the larger time frame. The complete opposite to what we saw during all of 2022. But anyway, if you're taking a look at the chart, as we can see here, we technically still have a bearish. The variance currently playing out on the time daily frame, as I've been saying over the last 1 week or so. And so once again, this basically means we should not really be expecting a lot of bullish momentum, at least in the immediate short term. And so instead, like I have been saying in recent video here on the channel, I do expect either some choppy and sideways price action, or potentially a slight pullback in the somewhere short term. But remember, all of this still is currently occurring within the larger multi-month long bullish trend. It's just right now we are basically taking a short term pause from the larger trend. And if you look at the bullish Bitcoin mag as well right now, this is still looking more bearish than bullish. But with that being said, it is not showing as much momentum compared to some of these previous moves, which basically mean we shouldn't really be expecting a massive crash or anything in the imminent short term. Instead, of we will likely see some more mild price action. Basically, some choppy sideways price action is, if not a slight pullback, as I have been saying over the last few live. Now, while all of this is playing out in the short term, this is helping to reset the daily Bitcoin RSI back down toward more neutral level, which can actually give Bitcoin more room to the upside later on when we eventually continue with this larger bullish. In fact, continue on with this larger bullish trend, considering that the larger trend is still currently valid, and if that happens, if we do end up ultimately seeing a confirmed breakout above the strong resistance at approximately 29,000. In that case, next I will be targeting toward around 37 based on this input method for branding extension, and also based on the technical price target for this potential bullish flag pattern. It is important to understand that as of right now, that 37,000 price target is not yet in the play, not yet confirmed the same as their bullish flag pattern. Here on the week pattern, week time pattern, this is not yet confirmed and currently forming. But for this confirm, we will need to see a confirmed breakout above around 31,000 approximately, with ideally a weekly candle close well above that level. And as of right now, once again, but just in the imminent short term, what we have seen recently is a small bounce from this short term support, which is sitting at around 29.7, is 29.7 and 29.9 approximately. And so technically speaking, why the price of Bitcoin is still finding support at this area, technically the price is still forming this bullish flag pattern, so basically trading within a choppy sideways price range. So essentially in the imminent short term, if you're talking about the short term trend, this is basically neutral because we are still in a sideways price range. But if this support break, as I have said in recent live here on the channel, if we see a confirm break well below this short-term support, then in that case, that will potentially signal more of a short-term bearish trend beginning to from which looks something like what we saw back here. But remember, even in that case, it is still possible for that to occur within the larger bullish trend. So basically, that's the situation right now in the short term. We're still looking relatively neutral, but if this support break, then it will flip more bearish in the short term. But for the longer term trend, we are still looking bullish. As for resistance in the short term, looking at the 1 week Bitcoin chart, if this short term bounce continue, then I will expect some resistance at this area around 30.8k to 31k, and above that we also have this level resistance at around 31.3k. So just be aware of the fact that even though we are seeing a short-term bounce from this support, obviously we still have strong resistance above the current Bitcoin price, so we are not necessarily looking overly bullish, or again, at least not yet. But anyway, now getting into the Ethereum. On this live, this is only the daily US dollar chart, and now right now the price of Ethereum is still holding above this ascending line on support, which is sitting at approximately 18.86. But as I have said in recent live here on the channel, if we see a confirmed breakback below 18.9, we ideally a daily candle close back below we will likely see a drop down toward this area. We will likely seeing a drop toward this area of support in between 70 to like 1820. And as for the resistance, in case this short-term bounce continue, then we should expect resistance at around $2,000 approximately. And now if you are taking a look at the daily Ethereum, weekly Ethereum price oscillator as of right now, these are still looking extremely neutral. First of all, the RSI is essentially chopping around sideways around the middle of the overall RSI. Extremely flat, showing very low momentum to either direction. which once again me just in the short term. As in overall, the next few days we should not really be expecting a day. We should not really maximum move, and instead we are likely going to see relatively mild at this point action in the short term, as I have said over the last few days. So now, if you are zooming into the chart, Ethereum to US dollar chart, once again, the price of Ethereum is still currently trading with this ascending parallel channel, which essentially a bullish trend forming. Higher lows and a higher high. Once again, this support level sitting around 1819 approximately, and this resistance still sitting at around 2030, so just above $2,000. But with that being said, even though the price of 8 is technically still within this channel, if we simply see a confirmed break below, I'm gonna draw a line. Obviously, that would potentially signal more of a trend reversal. From this bullish trend into potentially a new short-term bearish trend. But as always, in the short term, if that happened, but that doesn't necessarily mean the longer term trend is completely over. And now, zooming further into the short term, taking a look at the week either to the your dollar chart. Once again, we have this area support at the golden pocket in between around 1884 to 1.9k, 1.8k. But if that level break, then the next short term support is sitting at around 1870, and below that I will be looking toward this previous low sitting at around 18 to 20 to or 18 to 30. As for resistance in the short term, we have this previous retracement level sitting at around 9020 to the 9030. Currently, acting as a short resistance, but if we see a break above 9030, then in that case, the next resistance I'll be watching is sitting at around 1950 above that. Then I'll be looking towards around 1918, and above that, once again, the resistance close $2,000. 20 so now why the price of each is still holding above this ascending. Suppose technically speaking on the 8-hour chart, I'm sorry, when we check, we're still in a somewhere bullish trend, but considering that the fact that we still currently have a very low momentum here in the daily mat, it is possible that over the next few days, the price basically chop around sideways, doesn't really do anything spectacular, and it is possible we could leave this ascending parallel channel. That in that case, so those are just some potential signal to watch out for moving towards forward, but obviously I have given you the situation for the why the price is still in this ascending parallel channel. So this is about the Ethereum in 1 week. So let's take a look to the Bitcoin. So in here, this is the Bitcoin price is changing a lot. We are seeing significant higher lows and a higher high here on the time frame. You're simply looking at the super trend indicator in the Bitcoin. So this is sitting in the green, which one again means we are still technically within a larger bullish trend, that complete opposite that we complete the opposite to what we saw throughout all of 2022. But being said, obviously in somewhat shorter term, the price has been running into this significant resistance at approximately 29,000. As of right now, we have not yet confirmed a breakout above that level. So of course, this is still the strong resistance to pay attention to. And if you want to know more about this potential cup and handle pattern here on the larger time frame, then check out the last video on the channel. But looking into the 1 week Bitcoin chart, and once again the price is still running into this important area of resistance, similar to what we saw back here on top of the price, running important resistance. Obviously we still have this bearish divergence and still currently playing out on the daily time frame, because we have seen higher highs on the daily chart in the price action, while also seeing lower high in the daily Bitcoin. And so once again, I have been saying pretty much every day almost over the last 1 week or so, this means that we due to see reduced bullish momentum in the short term, which means we should be expecting either some choppy sideways price action So in tag, which I will talk about, is Bitcoin. So close about 29K in order to actually confirm a breakout, which as of right now has not yet happened. So obviously this is still the important resistance to pay attention to on the larger time frame. And as of right now, this giant cap and handle pattern, it has completed the formation phase, but it is not yet confirmed. It will only confirm and come into play if we see a confirmed breakout above this strong resistance. But as for the larger trend at play, as I have been saying since the beginning of this live, clearly the larger multi-month long trend is more like bullish than the bearish, because we are still seeing a significant higher lows and higher highs on the 1 week Bitcoin part, and on top of that, of course, this super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bullish trend here on the larger time frame. The complete opposite to what we saw during all of 2022. But anyway, if you're taking a look, you can see here technically still have a bearish divergence currently playing out on the daily time frame, as I've been saying over the overall. So once again, this basically means we should not really be expecting a lot of bullish momentum, at least in the imminent short term. And so instead, like I've been saying in recent live here on the channel, I do expect either some choppy sideways price action, or potentially a slight pullback in the somewhat shorter term. But remember, all of this still currently occurring within that larger multi-month long bullish trend. It is just right now we are basically taking a short-term falls from the larger trend. And if you're looking at the Bitcoin mat as of right now, this is still looking bearish. But within that being said, it is not showing as much momentum compared to the sign of the previous move, which basically means we shouldn't really be expecting a massive crash or like anything in the imminent short term. And instead, we will likely see some more mild price action, basically some choppy sideways price action. If not, it's a slight pullback, as I've been saying over the last live. And now, while all of this playing out in the short term, this is helping to reset the daily Bitcoin RSI back down to a more neutral level, which can actually give Bitcoin more room to the upside later, or when we eventually continue on this larger bullish trend, considering that the larger trend is still currently valid. If that happen, if we do end up ultimately seeing a confirmed breakout above the strong resistance, promisely 29,000. That in that case, next I will be targeting toward around 37,000 phase on this import method, Fibonacci extension, and also based on the technical price target on this potential bullish flag pattern. But it is important to understand that as of right now, 29,000 price target is not yet in this bullish flag pattern. Here on the that 8 week time frame, this is pattern not yet confirmed. Is currently forming. See a confirmed breakout above 31,000 promisely, where ideally a weak candle close. We well above that level, and as of right now, once again, that has not yet happened. But just in the immediate short term, we have seen recently as a small bounce from this short term, support which is sitting at around 90.7k approximately. And so technically speaking, why the price of Bitcoin is still finding support in this area, technically the price is still forming this bullish flag pattern, basically trading with a choppy sideways range. So essentially in the imminent short term, if you're talking about the short term trend, this is basically neutral because we are still in a sideways price range. But if this break, as I have said in recent light here on the channel, we see a confirmed break well below this short-term support, then in that case, that will potentially signal more of a short-term bearish trend being to form, which could look something like what we saw back here. Remember, even in that case, it's still possible for that to occur within the larger bullish trend. So basically, that the situation right now in the short term, we are still looking relatively neutral. But if this support break, then I will flick more bearish in the short term. But for the longer term trend, we are still looking bullish as a resistance in the short term. Right, looking at the week Bitcoin chart. If this short term bounce continue, then I will expect some resistance. This area in between around 30.8k and 31k above that also have this level of resistance around 31.3k. So just be aware the fact that even though we are seeing a short term bounce from this support, obviously we still have strong resistance above the current Bitcoin price. So we are not necessarily looking overly bullish again, at least not yet. But anyway, now getting into the Ethereum, the Bitcoin part is and so we are going to talk about Ethereum. This on the daily 8 to US dollar chart. Right now, the price of Ethereum is holding above this ascending, which is in around approximately 18.90. But in the recent video here on the channel, if we see a confirmed break back below 1890, where ideally a daily candle close back below that level, then we are likely to drop down toward this area support in between 70.70 to 80.20. As for resistance, in that case, this short-term bounce continue, that then we should expect resistance at around $2,000 approximately. And now, if you are taking a look at the daily Ethereum price oscillator, as of right now, this is still looking extremely neutral. First of all, the RSI is essentially chopping around sideways around the middle of the Ethereum MAC. It's also chopping sideways looking extremely flat, showing very low momentum to either direction, which once again means just in in the short term, as in over the next few days, we should not really be expecting a massive move, and instead we are likely going to see relatively mild price action in the short term, as I have said over the last few days. So now, if you are zooming into the candle, the price of Ethereum is still currently trading with this ascending parallel channel, which is essentially a bullish trend, forming higher lows and higher high. Once again, this support level at around 1890 approximately, and this resistance still sitting at around 20 or 30, so just above $2,000. But with that being said, even though the price of 8 is technically still within this channel, if we simply see a confirmed break below this support line, then obviously that will potentially signal more of trend reversal from this bullish trend, potentially a new short-term bearish trend. But as always, it is important to understand the difference between the short-term and the longer term. So even in that scenario, of course, that will flip more bearish in the short term, and that happened. That doesn't necessarily mean the longer trend is completely over. And now, zooming further into the short term, taking a look at the $U chance, once again, this area of support at the golden pocket in between around 1819 to 1.9k. But if that level break, then the next short term support is sitting below that, toward this previous low, sitting at around 1820 to 1830. And as for resistance in the short term, we have this previous retracement level sitting at around 1920 to 1930, currently acting as a short term resistance. But we see above around 1930. Then in that case, the next resistance I'll be watching is sitting around 1950. Then I'll be looking towards around 1918. Above that, once again, the resistance closer to toward $2,000. Now, while the price each is still holding above this ascending, technically speaking on the chart, we are still in a somewhat bullish trend. But considering the fact that we are still currently have very low momentum here on the daily MAC, it is possible that over the next few days, the price basically chop around sideways, doesn't really do anything spectacular, and it is possible we could leave this ascending parallel channel that way. So those are just potential signal to watch out for moving forward. But obviously, I have given you the situation for now. Price ascending parallel channel. So this is about Ethereum. So we're gonna talk about we have talked about Bitcoin and Ethereum. So we're gonna discuss. You can see right here in Ethereum, and now we're gonna talk about Bitcoin. So let's go to the Bitcoin. In the past, you can see right here there is a ascending right here, and there's a lot of choppy. If you take a look at closer, you can see here you can see there as a bouncing line. So as I said, so this is Bitcoin, and this is Bitcoin history, previous day and now. So we're gonna talk about Ethereum more. Quantum in Ethereum has been on the rise in the coming month. It will undergo an upgrade, could take almost the market share away from competing layer. And so, in this slide, to bring you up to speed on Ethereum most important update, explain its coming upgrade, and tell you why Ethereum could be on the brink of a boom. I'll be saying in Ethereum is not financial advice or educational purpose, and you should consider it to be just one out of consolidating your crypto. Also know that I will be at compute whole Ethereum in our personal. Now it's been more than since our last Ethereum update. I have talked about Ethereum and Bitcoin last few days, and shortly after that light when light blowing Ethereum directly leading to more Ethereum demand from crypto, more about description. I that it will be launching a DeFi protocol on Ethereum. We couldn't find any news of the protocol deploying, but continue institutional adoption of Ethereum for the better or for the worse. Also declared that Ethereum is not a security. Now this was believed the eroded from SEC Chairman Gray, who implied that Ethereum has some same day of Ethereum transition from the proof of work to proof of stake. However, it is seen to declaration for showed SEC credit down on the staking that because a few days later announced that it had settled with the SEC for the offering staking service, which the regulator believed. In mid-February, there was a speculation that the SEC would use it seemed to foreshadow a crackdown on the Coinbase, which was too early last month due in part to the staking exchange offer. There was, however, a silver lining in the mindset of complaint block on Ethereum Bacon had fallen below 50% for contacts over 70 Ethereum block were enforcing sanction after today. This figure stand at less than a third consensus resistant up to a point. Ethereum developer announced that EIP 4337 had been successfully implanted in EIP 4337, also known as Smart Account, make it possible to introduce feature on Ethereum that will adoption such as drop with no gas fees and making mobile wallet as a secure hardware. So possible for validator had experienced some delays, and they were concerned that the upgrade will result in selling, which could crash its price in the end. These concerns were extremely crashed. Although there was some Ethereum selling after the upgrade, Ethereum price was unaffected. In fact, Ethereum price pumped in the day following Chapter because the upgrade. It also effectively complete Ethereum transition to proof of stake, but because the universe requires that all form be balanced out with the fact that SEC announced will be proposing a rule to expand the definition of a chain to include the DeFi protocol. The comment period or proposed rule closed on the 13th of the June. If it is implemented, DeFi could be in trouble. Continue regulatory uncertainty around the crypto industry. It is possible which investor had reportedly been getting exposed to the Ethereum indirect project that SME institutional interest in Ethereum has surged in recent months, but it seems most being indirect now. This could have less to do with regulator uncertainty around as they get more to do with the effect that regulators have been picking up crypto on and off, right, left, and right now. Obviously, less than institution want to do. Ethereum generally not be able to cash out the set. Some institutions haven't kept this regulatory concern that end of April, survey of French Bank Associated. Retail investors were going crazy trading. First, it was reported that Ethereum Foundation has sold some Ethereum. They was taken as a sign Ethereum had a local top given that foundation does have a history. It doesn't have a perfect track record. In this regard, nobody does later Ethereum vacant chain. Later, in transition, couldn't confirm finally or not. It is believed that the main coin craze overloaded some Ethereum client. Whatever the case, the vacant chain was quickly upgraded, and as well, that was until late May when voted when the Ethereum community a lengthy blog post overload Ethereum concern mechanism. The mechanism is that putting too much functional Ethereum could compress its security in claim that's being made by many in the Bitcoin champ. 1 week later, Ethereum wallet that had been promoted ICO Day started to move their Ethereum to new wallet. Thankfully, it seemed a change. If it had been, it would have signaled an intention. Unfortunately, the same can be said for Ethereum co-founder. Accounted for more than 10 years, a change in over 2.5 years. Fortunately, though the universe of balance outweigh former of the Bank of China reportedly dollar or asset on the Ethereum was done with the help of Swiss Bank. The primary macro factor has been liquidity, which has been positive for the first half of the year. For those unfamiliar, liquidity is another word for money. Liquidity has been on the rise in January because the debt ceiling had been reached for the U.S. government to spend money in the economy, as I couldn't issue debt look a bit more. However, the liquidity picture looked a bit more mixed bag and reported rolling billion through the Fed facility, increasing liquidity at the same time. However, the U.S. government has been issuing dollar of debt to refill its bank account at the Fed, which is likely you watch above the refill on the U.S. government could spread Ethereum price the same way I did during the refill early. As for crypto factor, gold, there are two formational upgrade, which was by all account a great success. As you can see, the Ethereum recent high of around 18 or 18.9k was reached on the same week. The chapter went live in the second crypto factor that been affecting Ethereum price is regulatory uncertainty have much effect and the price bet when you measure Ethereum price in Bitcoin term. You can see that it being and the performing deposit in price pen in Firechain. The bad news is that Ethereum and the performance against BTC Bitcoin is likely to continue until there are more regulatory certainty in the US and elsewhere. The good news in the Ethereum could still see impressive gain in the Fate 10. This assumes the crypto market will continue to rally less hope that it does when it comes to fundamental Ethereum supply has been deflation. More Ethereum is being transition fee that is being managed via staking reward that cover deflation trending to be reversing. If this continue, Ethereum could begin inflection. The coming week on this shouldn't be a problem because each demand continue to be a robust amount of Ethereum being staked continue to rise along with the number of validators. The number of unique wallets on the Ethereum blockchain also continue to be a strong uptrend. At first glance, the declining number of daily transactions on Ethereum is a bearish until you remember that Ethereum has an entire ecosystem of layers to that. Lo and behold, the number of transactions on these two layers has been spiking more than for the short form. Now this raises the question whether all the layer 2 activity is enough to create demand for the Ethereum given the low fee on this layer 2. The answer is yes. If we activity on this layer 2 and so forth, this seems to be the case. Upcoming milestone for Ethereum in the EPI 4844 upgrade, which is concurrently referred to as a proto-dank, showing the reason why proto-dank is basically allow Ethereum to reach a level of scalability that comparable with centralized computer system. This will be achieved by addressing Ethereum main bottleneck to scalability, which is data availability, as explained. But Ethereum developer proto is a transition. This is because it's hard to require transition data on a cryptocurrency blockchain in a way that both fast and centralized proto-dank sharing solve this by making in a way possible for the special block of data to exist on the Ethereum blockchain. These blocks make transaction data more readily available, which should increase Ethereum scalability fees and increase the transaction speed on its layer. To that the simple explanation, be sure to watch proto presentation. If you want the complex explanation, the link will be like this. Watch now product sharing was first proposed as an EIP. So there was about Ethereum. This is about Ethereum news. Microcount that are possible in Ethereum, like here my option as you have no explore the here possible microcount for the anybody who new on this channel, that anybody who the idea is still Ethereum, here are likely to make another low in the box. The idea is that please rely 5 wave on the low, that we are quite bullish because we have 5 wave. It's really probably just a diagonal stretcher, and we are looking for a 3-way pull deck in a ABC stretcher into this support area between 1880 and 70,000 and 1889. So a little bit lower, around about 80,000, but certainly shouldn't drop below 1700. This wave count is correct, which means we break below. We have to change our assumption. Bear in mind always that we need to listen to what the market is telling us and then adjust our count and strategy. At the moment, this is sort of the idea. Now 5-way, up 3-way down, and that from here price should ideally turn around and move up now. 10 or micro count. I mean, first of all, what we need to find low is like very corrective, very corrective of borrowing. And if I draw, you can see a retracement, then you can see that price reach perfectly in retracement that typically target for a fourth wave. You know, the retracement or the third wave is so this is Ethereum. So we're gonna talk now. We're gonna talk about a Bitcoin after the Ethereum. On Bitcoin, economic start with the macro outlook. We are going to look at the sun market. Today, Wall Street importing some fear and greed across, crypto fear and greed across. The stock market, because eventually we have to have correction in the market, but what a lot of people fear is that the price are going to go lower than where they currently were, and what happened is most people, we must know this is by now that most people don't look at the chart. They have no idea what previous significant low points and where price those low points are. And for us, that one a little bit extra going, that extra mile to level up your own investing and trading. That day, the time frame, that is the key. Those areas are absolute key looking at time, because this is more important than price. But I will leave the future video again. Now we have 90,500. We have like, as a round number, we have like 15.5. This oscillation where the market came up and basically feared of the investor. They were expecting the market to go lower, but it didn't. And I guess what I have talked about here is that these are missed opportunity, but the masses, and so each time the market ran up and then correct, they hope wait for the lower price. They have seen 22, they've seen 20, they've seen 18, and when the price to come back so they can get again, because this time they believe that the market will go up from that point. This time they have the ball to get in at those lower points, but the market doesn't always give you those second opportunity like that. It typically doesn't give you those second opportunity. It might give you a second opportunity at a slightly higher price, which is what has happened here at 60 to 90, and it have happened again at 24. But once people see this price is basically over, and we are still in a bull market. Now I'm saying we are a bull market, but hasn't changed. Nothing has changed because the structure hasn't changed. The price point I'm looking to crash to be a break on 90.5K. Now we can tap 24. It is another key lower here which has been tested and bounced away. There has been a 12 and 70 app single digit. Let's go to the downside. That take us the 50, the halfway point, where the previous resistance was is going to get there. I don't think so. I don't think we are going to go that far. Typically, what we see and have seen there was the most significant one was approximately 3 or 4% is you move there 2.7 and the next higher, the next reversal here on the dailies as 1.65. So if we went crazy and did 4%, 5%, it is basically like, so that's why the correction in the first stage moving out the low are probably going to be disappointing for those masses because they miss out on the hoping for 3800. They're hoping for anything big so they can scoop. Within you don't get into the market physiology, market psychology. You're looking at how this move walk you happen, and everyone is waiting for the big move, and some people are buying these up and higher prices, which cause the market to run up quicker and quicker. Yes, we will get correction, and we will probably juke from when you can see the average true range is dying. Eventually, we get this nice spike, with basically concise that lead to higher low forming in the market, leaving more disappointed, leading that bull market chase. Going on and on. I could go through 2003 or 2004. It's the same deal. Again, very short. Move to the downside. So the wrap this up, we are looking at the correction. We are looking at the correction for Bitcoin. Looking at correction on the stock market. When this is going to happening soon, it has to the market has to correct in order for it to be healthy. So we will see a correction. The bear market, the bull market, not over, but the market is definitely over. I just want to make the point that overall macro structure it is still intact, but we do have to see correction. So they pretty much I think going to be a short in the single digit from top to bottom. So it is probably not going to be so distressed for Bitcoin if we see a correction and using the previous cycle as well when we go back into the 2015. After really significant just moving right now, the volatility was much more crazy back then, whereas we haven't seen we saw in here 2019. Well, haven't seen crazy volatility in this move, so we did see a little bit. It took a while month just to calm down, digest the move. A bit of crazy volatility and jump to the new high. Look at the month between a trading range of 2005 25k around 29k. So it is very contained in terms of the move, and is not having those bit crazy move. Same sort of deal has just happened again. So lead me so believe that we are not going to see crazy dumps to take up. every time we did see a little bit, it took a month just to come down than just the move. So we hold out about $29,000 for any sort of correction. Still a good time waiting for this market to come back and start to push to higher prices. For the date coming up next week, we have got some rate. We have gone through the average true range, which I will continue to cover because it looks like some volatility is coming to this market. The potential correction percentage for the stock market, which will help us identify what might happen. Cover that this move has been relatively cinematic on that way, rather than stupid FOMO where it just boom and then bust over a number of months. It has been a nice clean move up and down now. One thing I didn't cover was we'll get to this. The main thing here is look like we are putting a lower high for the fear and greed and higher low. So we are starting to get a bit of the side we are going to be fearful again, and it could just last a very short period time. We are having seen in the past very quick move to the downside. That doesn't mean that the price will collapse to new low. This breakdown and price we are higher through the fear got more only because of the volatility increase. So keep that in mind as well. And the stock market, saying of stock, lower high has been in the past, which is what we will get to as well. Extreme fear back. Look at those. Look at those high level. It's crazy. People get extremely fearful. Price is the same. All right. This is about Bitcoin. Our Bitcoin changing about in this day, in previous day. So you can see right here. This is the past and April on May. So this is the previous one. So the Bitcoin price is changing. So there's a little bit of bouncing happening in here, and now you can see it right here. There's a lot of bit of bouncy. The price is not steady because it's like changing, going up and going down. So you can call this a choppy or bouncing. So this is about Bitcoin. And let's take a look at the Ethereum again. And Ethereum, you can see that it's also like Bitcoin, but it is different. You can see right here the prices on the stock are changing a lot. You can see a cup, and it is also bouncing around, like it is not steady. So the price is not steady. It's gonna go up or down. In my experience, that it's gonna be go up. It's not steady. It's gonna go up. It's gonna go down. It's not usual. And Bitcoin, BTC. Bitcoin ready to above the 32,000 as we are heavily volume on the volume profit. Now this is very much possible at the accumulation. It is still very aggressive here in between June and July at the $30,000 range, and we also see the Bitcoin have fun absolutely skyrocketing as you here as you can see. Now we are going to take a look at the DXY to see the possibility of this descending wedge. If we got one more drop from this resistance zone, we could see the blast of Bitcoin and get ready for a huge massive drop to come in the next coming month, guys. So make sure you think carefully. Volatile on the low time. Explain that I just the next coming minute. Bitcoin going straight to the I let you know that there is a still massive accumulation in buying in 30,000 range. We have been testing the strongest neckline now for the several week. In April, we have a test right now. June and July, we are still consolidating at this level. Okay, so could get a pullback here. Everything point at that we could be a maxi blast of above 31,000 to reach $40,000 or maybe even higher, guys. The reason why is there no volume. You can see this in the P volume level, what we are getting rejected and rejected, consolidating, potentially ready for a blast off. We might get a small pullback. Yes, this is possibility. Don't get wrong. A lot of data. This is suggestion happening here. Distribution right now is green. That accumulation happening here every single week at the $30,000 range. They are not selling at this level, which is telling me this is likely going to be a accumulation zone. We are going to blast off massive high. That moment or extremely caution, guys. When we got $1,000, a portionally upload some Bitcoin. Okay. Taking some profit, accumulate above the 20 line, 2000 line. You know, other data, we do have a Bitcoin held by fund that has been going absolutely skyrocket from June, as you can see, since of the hype of the BlackRock Ethereum, because you know interested in that little bit, possibly accumulation that could blast of the price of Bitcoin. It's just a reality, right? So seeing Bitcoin, like I said, this is hardly any volume here above 31,000 till we get this mountain spike here, which is around $40,000 match at possibility, guys. So we just need to be aware, taking a look. Yes, since we talked about yesterday ran into non-match of assistant. I felt still convoluting. Higher slightly beneath $30,000, getting above, right? So convoluting in that zone, at that zone. Now we do have another chance here on the DXY to get one more surf drop, because hitting resistance right now. We do consolidate here today, Friday, so we are not going to see the price action on the DXY till Monday, but I expect Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to see the DXY falling to get above this level. Okay, 100 successful, slightly above the range, falling. All right, this is what I expect. This is, you know, technically analyzing very basis. One more drop here in coming week trigger the price of Bitcoin have a massive run in the week ahead. Alright, to be 35 or 40,000. We just be aware of the situation. Home draw is going to be last one in person option. If we do see Bitcoin coming week range give or take couple of thousand downs or volatility, this is going to be a moment to be extremely cautious. I do personally think that GSY, this aggressive ascending wedge, Coming month, something that we aware of that bear market have potentially continue to having of the next year, and then we could see a recovery at right to 2 to 3 that kind of price, expecting every point what this very possibility, guys. So we just need to be aware, taking a look at the lower time frame for Bitcoin, guy guys. You know that foreign price opportunity across legend trading community. I am currently traveling. Sorry. I also in the training community that possible long from this level over here, kind of local swing failure pattern to get the recovery claim. Waiting very much for the centenary about here in the trading community. I do see here possible setup to up 29,000. Alright, after the we are simply entering that trade at the low as soon as we got the wick, and this is basically happened as you can see with this price action over here. Got that run so far so good, guys. You want to know that. So this is about the Bitcoin. So today talking about is Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think you guys will know about how it's going in Bitcoin and Ethereum. For me in Bitcoin, you can see the line is gonna go up again. So this is the time I've been saying it. So thank you for watching this live. If you're new to this channel, if you want to know more, you can subscribe to the channel and make sure you thumbs up to the live. Thank you for watching my live.